So, friends, on behalf of Higher Education Forum and also SIA School of Learning and Leadership Development, we extend a hearty welcome to all of you this evening. I know after the day's hectic work, it becomes difficult for us, but that's the only time where we can catch upon the people from outside the domains of our institute to listen to some of the important topics. And today we are going to discuss a very, very interesting and important topic relevant for all educators, and that's the thinking and thinking critically. Uh, Thinking is an important thing. I mean to say, whether you're thinking from the left side of the brain, whether you're thinking from the right side of the brain, whichever side you're thinking, the thinking is important. But the point is nowadays, people are talking more about the critical thinking as a essential trait for the purpose of becoming effective not only as a professional but even in the personal life. And therefore, we thought that on this concept of critical thinking, let's have a discussion. So it's a more of a discussion rather than a session. And this is what we also, as educators, also need to imbibe in our students also, how to think critically. But that's the double, I mean to say, the agenda of this particular session, that how do we think critically and how do we make our students think critically. And to talk on this particular topic, we have with us a very eminent guest speaker with us, Dr. Monit Kapoor. Dr. Monit Kapoor is professor and the dean of the Chitkara University from Punjab. He's a very, very avid researcher, avid thinker. He has also got the one of the 50 top tech-savvy people in the country in the 2019. He has been a great researcher. If you look at his credentials, I mean to say, he has written more than 40 papers. He has got a patent to his right. He has got a couple of copyrights to his credit also. He has got 4 PhD students who have already completed a PhD under him, and the 4 students are under process now. So he has got an extensive thought process, and his current area of research is very, very interesting. He's talking about cognitive AI. He's talking about the networking on the one side and the cognitive AI on the other side. So on behalf of all of us, we welcome Dr. Monit Kapoor and request him to sir take over. Sir, the floor is open to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sen Gupta, for such a warm introduction, and good evening to everyone. It is indeed a profound privilege and a pleasure to be amongst all the eminent academicians group to which I'm addressing right now. So today we are going to, if I can request someone to keep on admitting people. These things are still popping on my screen. So today we are going to have a thorough discussion, like Dr. Sen Gupta already said, that we are these days there is a lot of talk on thinking critically and critical thinking, but I guess there are a few lesser known trivia about critical thinking that I would like to address today, and how it is very, very important for us as individuals in our day-to-day life. We'll try to figure that out. And more than answering questions, I'm going to leave you with many questions, which will definitely help all the attendees to traverse further into their onwards journey into critical thinking. We all are critical thinkers. We do that all the time. Only thing is that certain level of awareness has to be there. So I'll try to touch upon all of those things. And trust me, each of us is a unique person with a different set of mind, different set of personality. So when things come to such a diversity, the way critical thinking has to be done, even that takes a different shape and size and a form. So let's see how this goes. I'm quite excited about it. And the agenda for today's discussion is very simple. I've tried to keep it very, very simple. I don't want to make it too jargonistic. I don't want to go into too much of fancy terms and other things. Let's try to pick up things at a very, very fundamental level. That is what I'm trying to do today. And like I was discussing with Dr. Sen Gupta earlier, that I've been myself a mentor of change at Atal Innovation Mission. So gone through certain set of trainings over there, taken some very scientific application-oriented training from various industries like IBM, Oracle, and other top-notch IT companies, as well as my own research work that I've indulged into. So based on that, there are a few ideas around critical thinking, and I've tried to put all of that into an ensemble today. I've also discussed it with one of the leading HR training and talent management partner of various big organizations. The name of that organization is Bridging Gaps. So I've discussed it with the CEO of that person that I want to do such kind of a session. So what should be there? So some inputs have been taken from there, and of course, the various trainings that I've gone through as part of my own professional journey. So as you can look through the agenda, so the first question, and I'll request you to please explore all these things along with me. We're trying to explore things today. It's not that I'm professing something and you have to listen. Uh, First thing is that what we are going to evaluate is whether critical thinking is a skill or is it an ability or is it a competency. And next
आपण
slide.
तिकडे वर्कआउट करूया आणि आपण जाऊया त्याचं प्रपोजल घेऊन.
Sandesh sir, can you just put your mic off? So skill, whether the critical thinking is skill or ability or competency, that is the first part of this discussion. And then from there, let's try to find out the origins of the term critical thinking, from where it has come. Though of late it has been, particularly since NEP has come, there's a lot of talk around it. But trust me, it has got a long, long drawn history. And I'll try to put that forward also to all the audience today. And then let's try to figure out the characteristics of critical thinking. So once we are done with the history, the geography and the civics of critical thinking, then we go into the definitions of critical thinking. So once we go into the definitions of critical thinking, that is where all the audience would have to come in. All the attendees, I would request you to go through a set of activities. The activities should take around 10 to 15 minutes. And thereafter, we leave the floor open where I guess it should be more about comments and discussions. And if there is any feedback for me as a trainer or for the speaker for the day, I would be more than glad to have those. So this is the spread of today's agenda. So going to the next slide. So first things first, like first slide said that, first agenda point said that critical thinking, whether it is a skill or an ability or competency. So if you look at these three definitions that are put forward to you, and all of these are sourced from a very, very simple source, which is the famous Oxford Dictionary. Now, what does this skill tells you? The skill says it is the ability to do something well, especially because of training or practice. So if you see, skill is using the word ability to define itself. So skill would arrive at us or for a seeker of a skill only when they train on that skill or they practice that skill. In case they're not training or they're not practicing, the skill might not be there. So is critical thinking a skill? So this is where now I would ask you to start thinking about whether critical thinking is a skill or an ability or a competency. Now, the second part of this introductory slide is where I go on to define ability. Ability is the mental or a physical power or skill. And see how beautifully Oxford is using skill to define ability. The mental or physical power or skill that makes it possible to do something. So again, ability is there. If the ability is there, the person possessing the ability would be in a position to do something by using that ability. And that ability might be in our brains, or it might be very well in our muscles. So this is where ability takes two different forms, where it is one of the aspect of abilities where it is inside our brains, inside our minds. And the second one is where it is a physical power, or where the power that we develop by training. So if you would recall, if there is a sports person whom you know who is winning all the time, the sports person would have a very strong mental ability as well as physical nature attached to the person, so that that person can play and win again and again and again. So ability imbibes a skill which can be mental or physical. Then comes in the competency. Competency is something that we all are aspiring for at all points in time. Our lives are uh, central to search for a competency in more than one areas in our lives. So if critical thinking is a competency, so what a competency would be? Competency is the fact of having an ability or skill. So the Oxford Dictionary uses ability and skill both to define a competency. So the fact of having the ability or the skill that is needed for something, that is competency. And in our professional lives, we always say that person is a very competent professional, is a very accomplished professional, competent banker, competent professor, competent researcher. He's a very able sportsman. He's a very able doctor. He's a very skillful teacher. He's a very skillful coach. So these are the terms that often are said in our day-to-day life while describing somebody's functional levels. And today's discussion is also about one of the functional way to lead a life, which is via the critical thinking. So now critical thinking, whether it is a skill or ability or competency, please hold that thought to yourself. Right now, I am giving a drop to the word ability. And I'm requesting you, all of you, to come along with me. And let's explore critical thinking in terms of whether it is a skill or it is a competency. So the next set of slides will take a little deeper dive into the skill part or the competency part. And just to reiterate, skill is using ability to define itself, and competency is using both ability and skill to define itself. And skill, if if you would ever encountered this term critical thinking, it always says critical thinking skills. That is more often than not the description we found. But competency is again something that comes very, very automatically once we are skillful. So that's why I'm trying to address it from two dimensions. The first dimension is about the skill aspect of the critical thinking, and another aspect is the competency aspect. So on those two axes, we're trying to define it. We're trying to figure out what critical thinking is. We still not have identified what critical thinking is. We are still in process of exploring critical thinking. Here only what we have tried to establish on this introductory slide is whether critical thinking is a skill or it is an ability or it is a competency. And to do so, what we have relied upon is the definitions that Oxford Dictionary provides to these simple words called as skill, ability, or competency. And we are dropping here the ability part, and we are going more towards the skill and the competency-based description of critical thinking. So now comes in the next part. So what is the process of acquiring a skill? Everybody in their life wishes to be a skillful person, but what are the steps to acquire a skill? And those are nicely elaborated in this slide, where the first part is we identify the skill gap and we begin. Till we don't know where the gap is, we can't begin. So this is where the thinking hat has to take over. We try to think around a skill that we don't possess. In this case, it can be critical thinking or certain aspect of critical thinking. And we kind of make up our mind. We try to train our mind. We try to model ourselves into that zone where we sit on the seat of the gap that we have for the identified skill. So that is the Knowing that we don't know begins the journey. Second step, once this identification is done, of course, learning has to happen. So rather than thinking about the end goal, let's break our whole learning into smaller steps. Maybe take it 2 days at a time. Try to see where we have improved. Whatsoever things we were doing wrong, are we able to do them in a better fashion in a couple of days, in 3 days, in 4 days, in 10 days? We keep on building and we break our learning into smaller steps. We keep on learning, but we try to modularize our learning so that it is not a monolith of a long drawn process where we lose track of what is happening, what happened at the start of our learning journey once we are reaching towards the end of the learning journey. Then the third important aspect of the process of acquiring a skill is where we go on to learn from others. Who are these others? This can be coaches, this can be mentors, and these can be experts. The coach versus mentor versus expert. Coach is the one. Where do we use coach? Normally we use coach, the term coach, where we all would have seen these days cricket World Cup is happening and all the coaches are being shown on the screen. They say this person is a coach of Indian team. This person is a coach of Zimbabwean team. This person is a coach of Australian team. So what is a coach? Coach is the one who can show how it is done. Mentor, whereas a mentor is not the one who is going to do it along with you. Mentor is a person who will tell you where to look, will tell you where to go, but will never walk the talk with you, will never walk through the journey with you. That is the role of a mentor. And when it comes to an expert, the expert is a person who knows the entire life cycle of a particular skill, would know where things can go right, where things can go wrong, would be able to relate the skill to multiple areas, to the multiple practices that get affected by the skill in question over here, directly or indirectly. So these three are separate set of people. So we need to understand from where we wish to learn. A coach would be your guide, always by your side, doing the drills along with you. That is a coach, right? Mentor and then expert. Once you have broken up your learning into small steps, you are learning from a coach or a mentor or expert or two of them or all three of them. In parallel, it is always recommended that we carry out our own research. We're trying to figure out things about the skill on our own. We don't leave it entirely to the coaches and the mentors and the experts. And we all teachers, we always ask the students to do reference check, go and study reference material. In all our course plans, we provide them reference links. That is why it is there. And thereafter, another thing while we are acquiring a skill is to attend training sessions. So one would always look forward to, so wherever there is an opportunity to attend a training session, definitely go for it. Once all these 5 steps have been ensured, learning has taken place, some own research has been done, trainings have been taken. All of these things have been done to a substantial level, or you can say the mass of activity of process of acquiring a skill is tangible. It is quite obvious. That is when we put our skill into action. Not only put into action, we also would like to take feedback from the people or the stakeholders who are around us to check whether the skill that has been acquired, it is up to the mark or not. And in case the feedback that one has received, it tells about a gap, we again go back to step 1. And this is how iteratively, again and again, repeatedly, we keep on revisiting our skill levels. So this is the process of acquiring a skill. If critical thinking is a skill, now I guess the process to acquire critical thinking skill is well laid out in front of all of us. And we're still trying to understand what is the process, what critical thinking is. We started with this question whether critical thinking is a skill or an ability or a competency. We defined skill, ability, and competency. And now we have just understood. I've tried to take you along into this process of acquiring a skill. This we can go comfortably to the next slide, where we go into the competency. Now, competency is way ahead or way bigger description than a job description. These days, all the job offers, all the professional assignments, they come with a job description. The company in question would send a lengthy job description, a 1-page, 2-page, 5-page document, which tells about, okay, this is the things you need to know or you need to do when a person is sitting through a job interview. Whereas competency is something much bigger. It is much more obvious. So competency is normally what a human resource department of any mid-size or large-size organization would put in the guideline document. And it would explicitly mention the skill levels, the knowledge and the behavioral requirement. In other words, the functional requirements, the behavioral requirements. These kind of requirements are very well laid out in a competency model. And in this figure, I borrowed it from Google Images. But to me, this is quite a handsome way to put what a competency model is. Because you can start from anywhere into this competency model. Wherever you wish to begin, you can start. And you can end up doing the entire cycle of competency model. The important pies in this pie chart are teamwork, achieving business results, conceptual and critical thinking. So critical thinking again comes into the competency model. Technical knowledge, leadership, communication, organizational know-how, personal effectiveness. So all of these are huge terms. Teamwork has so many aspects attached to it. Communication is one part. Common alignment to the organizational goals is another part. Right? Achieving business results, of course, we might be in any institution, we might be teaching, we might be doing something else, we might be working in a bank or whatever. There is always a business objective to every activity that we do on this planet. In case there is no business objective, more or less the activity would turn futile sooner or later. But critical thinking we are already talking about. And I'm still not coming to the inner wheel. Technical knowledge is, for example, if somebody is performing a role of a professor of economics, so whether the person knows economics enough to profess economics, that is what you rate as technical knowledge. Or if somebody is banker, does the person knows the commercial aspect of banking or the investment part of banking or the normal accountancy procedures and practices or the law side of banking? That is what would equate to a technical knowledge. Of course, leadership is a very important part in the competency model. Leadership can be at all levels. It's not that only the people whom we report to, they are leaders. You can also, any person at any place in an organization can be a leader. And leadership involves a lot of things like initiative, looking far ahead, knowing oneself, so many things. Communication is another part, which is I just spoke about, which affects teamwork. And the inner wheel, what does it tell you? That technical knowledge can be assessed, leadership qualities can be assessed, communication skills can be assessed, and as well as. So what needs to develop is organizational know-how and personal effectiveness. And how do we develop it? By taking help of coaching. So we get coached on teamwork, we get coached on business results, we get coached on conceptual and critical thinking, which leads us to be a better leader, a better technical person, a better communicator, with a much better understanding of organizational know-how, thereby making us much more effective. So this is about competency model. So competency model always has to be looked from a standpoint where these models are applied to recruitment practices, talent management, trainings, and performance assessments. And these days, with the kind of APIs we are dealing with in our education sector, you can very well correlate to all these pieces. These are all getting aligned to one or another, if I may say so, the NAC criteria or the NBA criteria that we are all looking at. So with this competency model, now let me take you to, so again, I'm recapping what we have just, you were all exploring along with me. We began with this question, whether critical thinking is a skill or an ability or a competency. And from there, we went into fundamental definition of skill, ability, and competency. So we dropped ability out of it because it was something about physical power also. So we came again back to the mental aspects of it, which is a skill or competency. So how to acquire a skill is what we try to figure out. That is not the only way, but that is something that looks very, very finitely possible to be done, which we discussed in the previous slide. And then from there, we jumped into the competency model. So we have now tried to explore what competency model is and how it is different from a job description. And from here, we go to the next part, which is a competency vector. So the vector is, when we talk about a vector, it is a quantity that has got a directional characteristics. That is how we understood vector in our schools. But here we are talking about a competency vector. And when competency has to arrive, it has got different stages. And we all are operating at one of these levels, L1, L2, L3, L4. These are 4 levels of competency. But the first one, the L1, unconscious incompetence. We all understand what incompetence is. It is absence of a competence. And what a competency is, that has been defined. So absence of a competency is incompetence. And when we go on to comment on someone that that person is incompetent, we have enoughly seen that the person is unable to figure out what has to be done. And how we describe unconscious incompetence, you don't know that you don't know how to do something. And you find such people all around us. They're not thoroughly incompetent. For that one ask, for that one work, or for that one set of tasks, you might find a co-worker totally incompetent. Or you might find even yourself being incompetent to do something because you don't know that you don't know how to do something. So that knowledge has not dawned upon the person that they don't know what it takes to do something. And from here, the level 2 of incompetence comes in, or it kicks in, where the person knows that I don't know how to do something and it starts bothering.
काय होतं पुढच्या दुसऱ्या मीटिंग मध्ये बोलायचं आहे.
Pardon, sir. Somebody said something, I don't know. So conscious incompetence is that you know that you don't know how to do something and it bothers you. This is where this information is available to the individual that there is a gap. If you recall, the process of acquiring a skill, it began with identifying the skill gap. Conscious incompetence is the stage where one starts to acquire a skill. Because now you know that you don't know how to do something and it is bothering you, because that is very, very important for you to know. And the learning journey starts and the skill acquisition process starts. Then comes in the conscious competence. You can safely say conscious competence, if one person has thoroughly gone through a process of acquiring a skill, the stage of conscious competence will arrive. It will arrive at one point in time where you get to know that now you know how to do something and it takes effort. So the effort that it takes, because you have gone through the process of acquiring a skill to be competent. So you know the process, you know the effort, and you have been through it. So therefore, now you are consciously competent person. And this conscious competence, it can be reiterated, it can be revisited, it can be made stronger, stronger, and even stronger. It can go on. You can operate at L3 level for many, many years in your professional life. And from conscious competence, you go into a zone that is called as unconscious competence, where you know how to do something and it is your second nature and you just simply rock it. So these are the 4 levels of competence that gives you a very clear-cut idea where one would like to operate in their professional life. So if critical thinking skill is a competency, definitely one would never like to be in a L1. One would like to address the gaps in their critical thinking skills at a L2 level, would like to reach L3 level for all the gaps that one has identified as fast as possible, and would vie for being in the zone L4 when it comes to critical thinking. So these are 4 competency vector levels. So now I'm not going to revisit. I've already revisited enough all the things. So from here, now we come to the origins of the term critical thinking. Like it was said at the start of the session, that how did this term come to picture? The etymology of the term critical thinking, it derives from the word critic, which implies a critique, and it identifies the intellectual capacity and the means of judging, of judgment, for judging, and of being able to discern. This is the etymology that I borrowed from somewhere. So critical thinking equates to intellectual capacity and the means of doing what? Of judging. See, to judge anything, judge a phenomena or judge a happening or judge the quality of the data or to judge the kind of activity that you have been asked to judge, or to judge the way a particular set of people are operating if you are a manager or something like that. All of these require a lot of critical thinking. And in case you're doing it, you're already practicing critical thinking, trust me. But to judge, one has to observe. And in words of Jiddu Krishnamurti, if one has to observe without any bias, that is the highest form of intelligence. So observation and judgment, they can't go hand in hand. Either you observe or you judge. If you're judging something, obviously you can't observe, because now the focus is on getting more information about what has been observed already. So the whole process of separating observation to judging, that would require a huge amount of practice, patience, communication skills, self-awareness, situational awareness, and so many other things. And going to the history of this whole word of critical thinking, this was the first known reference of term critical thinking has been given by American philosopher and educator John Dewey in the book How We Think, and that was way back in 1910, and we are in 2023. So it is 113 years, friends, when this term was thought of. And how it was thought of in US at that time? It was adopted by the progressive education movement of those times in the USA as a core instructional goal So it was a core instructional goal, which was demonetizing the rote memorization aspect. So they were thinking to just do away with rote memorization. Of course, we were in the middle of our independence struggle as a country over that time. So I don't know how much that would have happened in our schools and colleges at that particular point in time. Of course, many forward-looking ideas have their origins in pre-independence times. But this is from where it started. And ever since last 10, 15 years, more we see entrepreneurial uh, activity into our country picking up. We see that critical thinking has become very, very important. And with more opening of economy, the the organizations which were working in a different geographies, now they were looking at Indian talent. Of course, the way they judge Indian talent is no different than they judge talent in Europe or Americas. So, of course, that is also why critical thinking became very, very important as one of the assessed capacities of the person who was being hired. And that is why so much focus on term critical thinking. So, friends, we have tried to explore about critical thinking, whether it is a competency or it is a skill. We have tried to understand how a skill can be acquired. We have tried to understand what is a competency model and what are the various levels of competency models. And we have tried to overlap the competency vector on the process of acquiring a skill. And now we also know the history of term critical thinking. So this is from where now we go finally to the characteristics of critical thinkers. These are not only characteristics, but these are those characteristics of critical thinkers which I personally would approve of. So this is the kind of my personal insight. You might beg to differ, no problem with that. So first aspect of a critical thinker is the person has to be curious about a situation, curious about a phenomena, curious about a happening, curious about a document that is at their hand, curious about the data that has been given to the person. So curiosity is where you begin with your critical thinking hat. In case curiosity is missing, critical thinking might not begin. Second part is analytical. Now, when we say analytical, all of us are different kind of personalities. And all of us have a different way to analyze things. But when you are analyzing something, whether you are working on a fact or an opinion, at least this much differentiation has to be there. Then comes in introspective. A person who is introspective would definitely look at the advice that is contrary to one's belief. We will try to introspect internally what is being said to this person from the outside world and try to introspect that the process of analyzing something that this person has taken up, whether it is the correct one or there is some difference in it. Of course, one has to be able to make inferences. In other words, you need to hypothesize and you need to arrive at null hypothesis and the hypotheses that have seen the light of the day. One has to be observant. And I just spoke about observation in the previous slide as well. Observation without bias is the highest form of intelligence, where you don't put in your own personal biases while you're observing something. Well, I'll just take this one slide. After this, we have an activity only, and thereafter we keep on discussing. Still, in case you wish to say something, please go ahead. Yes, please. Bala has raised a hand. Hello, Bala. Okay, so it's not saying something. So then comes in open-minded and compassionate. Open-minded and compassionate is where person, it is very obvious that you're open to all the ideas and all the things that are being thrown at you. You don't need to absorb everything that is being thrown to you. At least you should look compassionate enough where you look like receiving the piece of advice or the piece of information that is coming your way, so that the other person doesn't feel let down while they're in your company. Able to determine relevance about the things, the facts, and the people who are around in a situation where critical thinking is being applied to. The person should be willing to effect a change, willing to take a blame, willing to take responsibility of the situation that might arrive due to the action that has been arrived upon based on the analysis that has been done, and all of that. And of course, effective communicators. And communication can be verbal as well as non-verbal. So these are certain important aspects or certain important characteristics of critical thinking. And based on all of that, now we come finally to definition of critical thinking. And friends, this is going to be my last slide. And after this, we begin a very short activity. So I request you to please keep a pen and a paper handy. So the first definition of critical thinking that I brought in for you is defined by the National Council for Excellence in Critical Thinking, and definition was arrived upon in 1987, where it says that it is, you can read through the slide, it's there on the screen also. I try to slice and dice it for you, where skillfully a person will be able to conceptualize, apply, analyze, synthesize, evaluate information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. We all are driven by our beliefs. We have got a belief set that starts to kick into our ecosystem, into our own thinking, right from when our parents start to give us certain beliefs. Then we go into our schools and colleges, our teachers, our friends, they further add to our beliefs. And we have got our own professional experiences, the way we say things. And this whole belief piece is a very huge piece. We are just the tip of our beliefs. We are so much, we go deep down into our own self. The set of beliefs that we have, they are all conflicting at times. And based on all our conflicting beliefs, we try to take an action. But what a critical thinking person would do would be intellectually disciplined to skillfully do all of that and come out with an action that is guided by a belief, which is based on all the scientific aspects of critical thinking. And the second part of this definition also says that the intellectual values or the virtues like clarity, accuracy, precision, consistency, relevance, sound evidence, good reasons, depth, breadth, and fairness. All of these matter a lot when the virtue or the quality or the skill or the competency of critical thinking, it kicks in. So an exemplary critical thinker would be possessing clarity, accuracy, precision, relevance, good reasons to do something, would know the depth and the breadth of the topic, and would definitely be fair. So this is the first definition of critical thinking that we have arrived upon. Second definition of critical thinking that I borrowed from Coursera in one of the courses of which is available over there. Critical thinking is again the ability to interpret, evaluate, and analyze facts and information that are available to form a judgment or decide if something is right or wrong. So it is a kind of a binary definition of critical thinking. That is why I have brought it. So either you are completely right or you are completely wrong. Once you have applied your critical thinking and you have interpreted something or evaluated something or analyzed something. That is what this definition says. And it goes on to expand the definition where it says that more than just being curious about the world around you, critical thinkers make connections between logical ideas to see the bigger picture. So here, one of the leadership traits is being invoked where you can connect the dots. And persons with critical thinking would definitely be able to educate ideas and opinions, present them in a logical fashion, and make decisions for improvement. And I started with this thing where we said that person should be able to differentiate between opinion and fact. The critical thinker should know what is an opinion, what is in fact. Fact is always evidence-based or data-based. And opinions are what are based on facts. Opinion one opinion can be based on multiple facts, right? So this is where I would take a pause now, and I would invite some questions, and I'll just let you understand what we are going to do today and why we are doing it, because all of you should know why we are doing it. I have brought in one small activity where you will go on to differentiate facts from opinions. You would be taking a 5 minutes personality test. Why we are doing it? Because each one of us is a different personality, and every person has got their own persona, and that's why they would perform critical thinking in their own way, right? And then we'll go into a fun activity where there will be a picture, and you will watch that picture for a very short duration, just memorize it, and then you will explain that picture by writing few sentences about it. So these are the three activities, where your attention span is small and you try to bring out some information out of a scenario. You try to differentiate facts and opinions, then you also get to know what is your personality type. At least you should know that today. In case you don't know it, because you know it very fine, but still your personality matters, like I mentioned on the slide, and the type even more. So it's a complicated theory, but knowing oneself is always better. So allow me a minute. I'll share a link with you on the chat, and from there you can download this one, and while you're taking this, still you can have a discussion with me what has been said so far. So if you look at the chat, I put the document link over here. You can take it from there, download it, and it should take 5 minutes for you to arrive at a conclusion. It is, and please don't take much time to answer any of the questions. Don't think too much about it, and be honest while you're taking this test or you're taking this assessment. Can I have a thumbs up from the people or a yes on the chat from the people who are starting the test straight away? Yes, Rajni, I'm pasting it again. There you go. So once you are done with this personality test, please let me know. Uh, you'll have to post a click picture inside a response room I have set up for you. And thereafter, I'll share the drive with everyone where all of this material, this inventory is available, and you can have a look at it again later on also. Please mention done on the chat once it is done, and then I'll share a drive link with you. So we have the first person who has done it. So Archana, I'm sharing the drive link for you. This is a public link. So on this drive, when you will click, you will go to a folder called as Critical Thinking Workshop. In that, there is a response room. So just create a folder of yours, like I have created for mine, though mine is empty. So go into response room, create a folder of your name in case you're on your laptop. Please do it. Otherwise, just write the personality type that you just described for yourself by taking that test and click a picture and upload it on the drive. All of you got editing rights to it. So please come to critical thinking folder and visit the response room. Please visit the response room like this and upload your sheet here. I'm yet to get a response from anyone. It's already 5-6 minutes. I hope someone has completed it. Can I have a yes? In case you're not comfortable sharing it, that is fine. But can I have a yes? Hello, sirs and ma'ams. If you can just confirm. Are you attempting the
Uh,
test?
Hello, this is
Yeah.
Kamla here.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
can you just repeat what are we supposed to do? So I clicked on the Google Drive link,
I
and
had
am I supposed to upload the screenshot of my response in the folder that you have created?
I have I had shared uh Myers-Briggs personality test PDF link. If you see over here, right?
Yes,
I have
yes,
shared it twice.
yeah.
So it is expected that you take around 5 to 6 minutes to
No, no, no,
first down.
no. I have taken the test. I've
Yeah.
completed it.
Yes,
Now,
yes,
where do
yes.
you want me to upload the response?
So there is this folder called as response room.
Response room. Right. I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just come and put it here. That is what I'm
Okay.
asking.
Okay. Fine. I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. So we got the first response that is coming. Sorry for I would have been there. There would have been some goodies for you. Okay, so Priya has said I am unable to find an upload option on my phone. Priya, no problem. In case you are unable to, no problem. You can just punch in on the chat also. Why I'm trying to put it here is that, see, this is a diverse audience. Same set of questions have been given to you. So this is just a simple reaffirmation for all of us that we all are different personality types working in the same organization. This is a message I want to convey out of this activity.
I just wanted to check whether you have received it. I'm Rajesh here.
Yeah, Rajesh, let me see where you have uploaded it. You have uploaded in the response room?
I think so. Okay, no, not in the response.
Uh, I have shared the entire folder also with you, so I have refreshed the entire folder. I can't see it anywhere. And more so in the response room also, I can't see it.
Have to click in the response room and share it
When
there.
you upload, you'll have to find that option to upload something from your laptop. There is this new button over here. So you can just upload a file by clicking file upload. And that clicked picture has to be on the machine from where you're sending. Okay, let's do it a little simply. I guess everybody's facing a challenge. So can we do it in a different way? Okay, what we will do is, I have this, because someone is maintaining the participant details, so I didn't share this with you. So I'm sharing an Excel file. Can you just punch in your name and the personality type that you found out for yourself? Would that be easy? How do you say, all of you? So this file is also there. If you will click on this link, you will go to Google Drive. Once you go to Google Drive, please click on participant detail and you will be able to open up this file participant detail where you can just enter your name and let me add one more column over here. Yeah, now I can see people coming over here. So you just edit over here. Leave alone this group number. I'll allot your group number because activity has to be in a group. Tell me. So you got 2 responses so far. I hope others can also do that real quick. Yeah, Kalpana, I'm sharing it again. Rajesh, you couldn't put in your personality type. It is still empty.
How do I access it?
The link is shared on the group. I'm punching it again. There you go. Click and put the personality type against your name. Yeah, it is a public link. Everybody is able to edit it. You'll have to use your Gmail ID to log into Google Drive if you have one. Never mind if in case you can't do it. We'll put it for you. I'll write your name. Just let me know what is the result for your self-assessment. Please tell. Put it on the chat or you can DM me. I think this is taking a little too long and it will bore us all out. So if you can just put your personality type just in the chat, I guess that is enough. What did you find at the end of the test? We still got 2 more activities. Yeah, Ms. Kalpana, you can tell me on the chat. I'll put it on the sheet. So you got E and I. Here I'm giving you editable link only, public editable. You can edit it. Manju full. I'm just using the first names, please pardon me for that. So we got lots of E and I types. That is what I find. Pavni has got J. Pavni, it can't be 1. It has to be 2. Kant. Saipriya has entered twice. Oh, she just deleted for Pavni. Vineet says E and I. So why so many E and I's with us? Maybe teachers are built that way and this is like admission heavy group. So I guess through this activity, we can see that, there are E and Is and E and S amongst us. There are some J's amongst us. S oblique N are there. So this sheet gives you a very clear-cut idea that, how to spot a personality type. I guess this is a revelation for all of you today to find out your personality type. Normally, these kind of psychometric analyses are not carried out for us academicians. Definitely, they do a lot for people in corporate. So we were on the personality type. So let's give a pause to this activity. This PDF is with you. Please do take a time to solve it at your own. You can again revisit the. Uh, thanks, Pavni. I'll update that. This folder is anyhow I'm going to share with all of you. So now I want to uh, give you a little bit more on an activity. So put on personality. This didn't happen, but anyways, we have maintained a sheet. So if you'll visit the Google Drive folder again, I wanted to break you into 4 groups, but never mind. We won't do that now. You can visit any of the activity group. Let's say you visit activity group 1. And let me share this document also with you directly on the chat, because a lot of you are facing a challenge. Copy link, done. So there is this document that I have shared with you all. I request you to please open it. I've given you on the chat. So what you get to see over here is this sheet called as fact or opinion, where a fact has been defined. A fact is something that is true or can be proven. And opinion is your feeling or how someone else feels about a particular topic. Please determine how many facts are here and how many opinions are there. This should happen really fast. Shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes. Avni, can you just list out the facts by their serial numbers?
Yeah. Number 2 is a fact.
Can you just put it on the chat?
Yeah. Sure, sure.
So Dr. Shraveri says 8 facts. Pavni, see, now you have a conflict at your hand. Personality types are at play. I don't know whether Dr. Sen Gupta is still with us. Oh, so she has brought in the facts. So, folks, so Solochna says 11. What? 11 is also right. Sorry, I got 8. Okay. 8 facts, 6 opinions. So this is a homogeneous group. Everybody is believing. So if we go by Pavni's explanation, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, and 14 are facts according to her. Yes, George Washington was the first president. Yes, it is a fact. Fourth, Thanksgiving is celebrated in November in America. So if we believe that, yes, it does come in November. So yes, that is a fact. 6, the presidential election is held in November. Yes. 7, Brazil is located in the continent of South America. Yes. 8, Atlanta is the capital of Georgia. Yes. Earth has one moon. Yes. 60 seconds in a minute. Yes. Road element is, yeah. So somebody said 7 facts. Prakash says 7 facts. No, Prakash, there are 8 facts. Most of us are agreeing to it. So this small little activity lets you see, it's just one simple line which tells you that what is a fact and what is an opinion. So my request is that henceforth, as a practitioner of your own craft, you can keep on revisiting everything that comes to you your way to identify whether it is a fact or an opinion, and you will definitely come out with much better analysis. So somebody is typing on the bottom. Oh, people have typed. Okay, so we are done with this part. Your timer starts now. It is 2022 on my clock. See this picture for 3 minutes. Till 25, please see this picture. And then take a pen and a paper and write 5 sentences to describe this. Please don't write while you are seeing it. Be honest. So 1.5 minutes is over. Last 30 seconds. So there you go. Please take out your pen and copy and write few sentences about the picture that you just saw. After this, you're going to turn on your mic and speak what you just wrote. Once you have written, please turn on your mic and speak.
Can I? Can I start?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I sense it's a depiction by an artist on a canvas. It's an oil painting. So it's and the painting is depicting the thoughts of the author of the painter of the artist, and his thoughts are depicted basically involving that it's a joint family here who are enjoying a family time, good family time in their living room, and all are happily enjoying, all are happy, and um, yeah, uh, it's a simple living in a farmhouse all
That's
together.
your 5 sentences are done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
So may I? This is
Yeah, please.
Kalpina.
Yeah, please.
First of all, I really sorry. I'm really sorry because in background there is a garba noise. So
No
sorry for
problem.
that.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the first thing is first sentence which I can describe from this picture is it is not difficult to believe that happiness is not a limit to materialism or anything. We can be happy. Second is happiness is bound to family, and third we can say whatever the shares we have. If you we can see now that cooks are there, they are eating the things. The kid is having his own meal, so whatever the shares we have, we can get our shares. Just we have to find it where and what shares we have. So chicks are eating there, which is a leftover food which is taken from the kids' bowl. No? So chicks are eating that also. So it is very thoughtful thing. The last
Five
sentence, which
sentences are over. Okay, so
okay,
you got one more. So one more is there? Yeah, please.
yeah, the whatever the smile, the smile on the faces of each and every character on portrait, it makes portrait beautiful rather than the background of it.
Okay, that's it. So your 5 sentences are done, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please. Please introduce yourself.
Sir, I am Swati Checker.
Yeah, please.
Sir, my sentences are so in this picture, I can see 6 people in the room who are enjoying amongst
Yeah.
themselves. There
Right.
are 6 chickens, like one cock and 5 chickens who are
Okay.
also enjoying the meal along with the family.
Yes.
Then I can see in the room that there is no door. So this place looks different from the regular houses
Yes.
because I don't see a door in it. Then there is also an empty fireplace. Probably either it was out or I mean, I can see an empty fireplace. Okay, so and there are 2 paintings and one wall clock.
Great. So that's it. So your 5 sentences
Thank
are
you.
over, Miss Checker. So see how different people can perceive the same thing differently, you know. Now you can
Yes,
very well understand, yeah?
yes, yes.
So anyone else would like to go for the description?
May I, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead, Manju.
Yeah, according to me, this is a picture which is describing a family which is not having a very luxurious lifestyle. It's a family of 6 members who are living happily. And the picture where hens and chicks are also sharing what they are eating shows us that happiness lies in sharing and giving.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else?
Hi, this is Kamla.
Yeah, please.
So this picture appears to be like a medieval time
Okay.
where the families were large
Okay.
and they were self-sufficient,
Okay.
and looks like it was like hands to mouth kind of a means.
Okay.
They were happy in that condition,
Okay.
and it was a very well fed kind of a family. Yeah.
Great. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? We can have maybe 2 or 3 more and then we go into the discussion mode.
I would like to speak something on this
Please introduce
picture.
yourself, please.
First is that this is an oil painting, and
Introduce
I
yourself.
see that there are 2 paintings on the wall plus one wall clock. Second is that the family is like a family get together, and all happy and satisfied, even though they are not a very well-to-do family. And they're very, very happy in their own situation. And then the mother is cuddling the baby and she seems to be very happy and enjoying. Then the hen and the chicken, they are happy to have, they're feeding on the leftover fallen on the ground.
Your 5 sentences are done, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to go? Please. Yes, please. Anyone else? So friends, I guess this brings an end to what we had just started. So these are the references. I'll share this PPT. I'll put this everything in this folder and I'll share it with Professor Sen Gupta so he can share the folder with you. You can always refer to today's workshop. So so this is the last section of today's it's already 90 minutes. Oh my God. So this is the last section. So we can spend another 5 to 10 minutes where if some of you can come forward and comment on what has been spoken, what we have tried to explore together, and let's discuss that out on the basis of the activity that we have done. How does this relate with what we have already tried to explore? So these are the things I'm looking forward from you. Please be a little forthcoming. I see a lot many people are there, but they are getting inhibited by something or other. Please feel free. Nothing is a wrong answer over here because we already have established that we all are different personality types. Else, I'll start nominating people. That can also be a way. How would you like it to be done? Shall I start nominating people?
So may I start?
Yeah, please,
This is
please,
Kalpana
go ahead.
again.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So my taking away from this session is that whenever we are talking about the critical thinking, so the critical thinking is a part of how we are visualizing things and how we are analyzing it. So like every time as we take activity, 2 activities which are taken, which has really eye-opener, where we can see that the same picture visualized or seen by different people, they may have a different opinion on the picture. That means we can say that the same scenario we can react or act on a differently. So we can taken a fact for that. The second is that the first activity we are taken fact and opinions. Over there we can easily say that we can't say that facts and opinions are different. Those are fixed. What I'm to say that. So facts can be facts only. So although opinions are different, still those things are different. Those are different. And here in a pictorial format, we can say that the same picture we can have a different thing. So I really thought of that in a current word. If you relate this, so this quite. As I again said, it's really critical to think about the things which are in front of us.
Yes.
So it's my definition of critical thinking right now,
So,
because
so even if something is in right in front of our eyes, it can be an opinion, whereas we think of it as a fact.
can be possible.
Can be possible. Yeah,
Yes.
see that when somebody counted the clocks and the pieces of furniture. I mean, so just try to look at the way the things were observed by that particular individual, and there was nothing wrong about it. And there were others who were thinking that this happens to be a poor family without even knowing who their ancestors are. They might be the royals of UK who have been painted in this picture. So we were describing picture by opinions and facts. That is what I'm trying to emphasize over here. When it was clear cut in black and white, available to you, you were able to, identify the facts and the opinions. But the moment it became a pictorial representation of something, from where you'll have to now extract out information, right? When you have to describe something, what do? You try to describe. I'm not saying that was an incorrect description. That was the way you felt about it. And why you felt about it? Because you have a personality type. right? And based on your personality type, your journey to critical thinking is going to be different. But everybody wants to be at L3 or L4 of the competence level, isn't it? So that our critical thinking skills are at top. So we need to be functionally and behaviorally, both ways. We need to be at the top of our game at all points in time. Anyways, it was a nice discussion, ma'am. So anybody else would like to go ahead? Yes, please. So shall I nominate someone? Shall I put somebody on the spotlight? Dr. Arpita is there. Bala is there. Anybody amongst you two would like to go for it? No. Okay. Supriya, would you like to take a shot at it? Any comment you wish to make, Supriya, or something?
Sir, can I?
Yeah, please.
I have a query.
Yeah,
I have a
please.
query.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Sir, as we started with this webinar, you told that critical thinking is skill or ability or competency.
Yes.
So if I, as a teacher, I want my school kids, I'm a school teacher. If I want them in that process of acquiring the skill, okay, if I want them to develop this critical thinking, how it can be done? If we, because you said that it should be broken, the learning should be broken in smaller steps. Is it that skill can be acquired during the school life by various activities as teachers do, like reasoning, practical knowledge, open-ended questions, and so on? And competency can be gained during the later phases of education. Is it that?
No, ma'am, not at all. This is not what I wanted to convey. In fact, good that you clarified that. I began with this question that how do we perceive critical thinking, whether it is a skill or is it an ability or is it a competency? For a professional, being competent is something that is very, very important. For you as a personal, for your own personality, or for your own personal gain, you would like to be an extremely competent teacher, isn't it, ma'am?
Yeah.
Whereas if you want to impart the same critical thing, you want to impart a skill to the student, or your students have to take learn a skill. What are the steps to do that? So these are the processes of acquiring a skill. So coming to your specific question, when you are with your students in your classroom, it is your primary responsibility that they become skillful. I don't know what subject you're teaching. Let's presume that you're teaching mathematics. So you will give them smaller pieces, smaller problem statements, and based on those smaller problem statements, you'll start giving them complex problem statements and so on and so forth. And here they are learning, since they are learning only from you. So you'll have to take different hats. The same person can be a coach, mentor, and expert. There is this beautiful movie where there is this character Miyagi. He teaches martial arts to the kids. So he is being a coach over there. And at times he becomes a mentor. So mentor is a person who will tell where to look at, and coach is the one who will walk along with you. And the expert, so a teacher can be all of these things, right? Student should be encouraged to do their own thing, find out some unsolved questions, solutions to some unsolved questions, find out from different books and so on and so forth. And then once they have done, then you give them some exercises they go through, and you give them a feedback, and this is how the students will learn a skill. So critical thinking is not something that you will develop as a separate subject. You will have to map the critical thinking skills in the process of acquiring knowledge about any particular subject would automatically entail critical thinking, right? Because critical thinking is a skill, and of course, it is a competency. So if you map this chart, skill of process of acquiring a skill, the process of acquiring a skill to the competency vector, you can easily identify that L2, conscious incompetence. This is where you would like your students to be, that they at least know what they don't know. And from there, you bring them to L3 or L4. L1, if they are at level L1, your students are at competency level L1. Anyhow, they don't even understand why they're in the classroom. You're getting me? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So
So
you will
means
have,
skill can, sorry,
yes,
sorry.
you have to map the process of acquiring skill to the competency vector. And automatically,
Okay.
critical thinking will become a part of it.
Okay, sir.
Right, man? I hope I
Yes,
have
sir.
answered it.
Yeah, I mean, skill if once they are understood what they have to acquire, competency level can be achieved through the process.
Yes, man. Obviously, any person will end up at L4 eventually. But it
Okay,
will take,
okay.
L4 is the level at which Olympians would perform, man.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks. Anything else? Anybody else would like to ask a question? Okay. So I guess we are done for the day today. So I'll share the whole folder with everyone. And with this, I'm done for today's session, Dr. Sen Gupta. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kapoor. I think we had an interesting talk. To put it that way, interesting talk that the acquiring of any skill or competence what talked about is a part of a journey of a life. And as rightly you told, the most important thing that critical thinking cannot be taught in isolation. It's an isolation. It should be taken holistically. Whatever subject we are teaching, whatever area we are delving with the students, we must see that the students as a part of the life, they acquire the critical thinking. And that's the only way probably we can move away from the rote method of learning, memory-based learning, etc., to more of an analytical way of learning and teaching. So thank you very much, Dr. Monit Kapoor. We had an excellent session. Many, many thanks for being a night all the way from Punjab, and look forward to seeing you once again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
If I can request the participant to switch off their camera for a minute. I would just like to capture this moment for my own memory, if it is possible.
Yeah, please. We request everybody to please switch on the camera.
If it is comfortable. At times, at home. Thank you so much. Wow. So many academicians in the room. Thank you. I've clicked the pictures. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dr. Kapoor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.